Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam, here with my brief thoughts on Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And I should note before I go on, this will be spoiler free because there's actually quite a bit that happens in the movie that I cannot talk about because this is going up on Thursday night slash Friday morning, depending on how long the edit goes. So, spoiler free, I promise. This was written and directed by Ryan Coogler. We all know who he is. This is the long-awaited sequel to Black Panther. We all know what it is. And this is the latest installment in the MCU and the conclusion of MCU Phase 4. After the death of T'Challa and the real-life actor Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, Wakanda faces a new threat in the form of the Kukal Khan, known as Namor, played by... I'm not even going to try and pronounce this actor's name, so here his name is in the lower third. This nation, who lives under the water, has control of a certain amount of vibranium. So it's a literal clash of the titans between Wakanda and this underwater nation who had been secret for hundreds of years. The first Black Panther movie, do I even really need to say anything? I mean, we all know how important it is. So when a sequel was announced, I was like, all right, let's see what happens. And then Chadwick Boseman sadly passed away, and that was a truly tragic loss in every sense of the word. When that happened, I was just, along with other people, were just truly just heartbroken at the news. And especially considering the death, I was worried about how the sequel was going to pan out. But considering that Ryan Coogler was coming back, and most of the original cast, including Angela Bassett, Letitia Wright, and Lupita Nyong'o, were going to be back, I had confidence that this was actually going to be good. And now that I've seen the movie, it was better than good. It was outstanding. I would dare say that this is my favorite thing in MCU Phase 4. Firstly, the cast was stellar, but the two standouts for me were Angela Bassett and Letitia Wright. They took Letitia Wright's character in a direction that I can't spoil, but it's definitely a darker direction, and I did not anticipate that they would go that route, but it honestly worked. And throughout the whole thing, I was saying to myself, Coogler, you didn't have to go as hard as he did, but I'm so glad that you did. Bassett also has a couple of monologues where I was just like, wow, like that's just so good. Lupita Nyong'o is good in her returning role. Denai Guerrero is good in her returning role. And then there are the newbies. Specifically, I'm just going to call her Ironheart because that is who she is. I'm not super familiar with Ironheart, but honestly, I thought she was great. She's not in the movie all that much in the grand scheme of things, but I thought she was really good. I hope she returns. And then there was the guy that nearly stole the entire movie from me, and that was this actor. Again, I'm not going to even try and butcher his name, but the guy who plays Namor, he was fantastic. I think, and I've only just seen the movie, so I may be getting ahead of myself, but I do believe it is true. I believe that Namor will be ranked among the best MCU villains. He literally, he was the character I was engrossed in the most. His motivations were presented in a way where, from a certain point of view, you do understand. It's just he's doing it at the expense of the Wakandan people, and it's also not good. So it's understandable, but not relatable, if that makes any sense at all. I hope they bring Namor back because it was teased that Namor might be returning, and God, I hope that is the case. But what I really did enjoy the most about the movie is that it literally did feel like a natural continuation from the end of Black Panther all the way through everything that's happened in the MCU and up to that point. It was the perfect closure of one chapter, not just of the MCU, but of Black Panther's lore, and the beginning of another. It is definitely darker than the first movie. That is what I will say. The movie does take risks in regard to these characters and this world, but I think they all pay off for the most part. I'm struggling to find flaws with regards to this movie. If I had to have like one, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not really that big of a deal. There is one scene that I felt like was very awkward, and that was, and just for context, Everett Ross, played by Martin Freeman, returns briefly as the Everett Ross character, and he interacts quite a bit with, I can't remember the character's name, but she's played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and she was introduced in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It seems like she's the leader of, I want to say, Shield. I honestly don't remember all that much of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so I'm sorry if I'm butchering, but I just know that she was the person that was taking over and trying to do the new Captain America thing, and it didn't work. But there is a scene, and it happens after a pretty important moment, where the first line of dialogue we hear is, your olive oil's about to go bad. And it's not as bad as other MCU movies, but it's that thing in the MCU that I despise, where they use humor to just diffuse a situation, like a potentially serious moment. And again, grand scheme of things is very minuscule, but it was definitely noticeable. And this is not really a problem. This is more of, I guess, a note. This movie's 2 hours and 40 minutes long. And honestly, for that length, it feels like it is earned. The movie moves at a solid pace throughout. There wasn't a moment where I was like, yeah, that could have been cut. Every moment had a purpose, every shot meant something. It was honestly refreshing. So I guess that's my note saying that be prepared, because that with 20 minutes of trailers, you're going to be in that theater for about 3 hours. But overall, at the end of the day, I'm going to give this movie an amazing grade. Like I said, this is definitely my favorite thing in Marvel Phase 4. It's this, Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and Spider-Man No Way Home, and not exclusively in that order. I've said in other forums that Marvel Phase 4 has been a very bumpy phase, with a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but they certainly ended it on a high note, and it seems like they're teasing a Black Panther 3. I'm excited for that. But no question, you should definitely see Wakanda Forever. Like I said, definitely one of the best things that the MCU has produced in quite a minute. But what did you all think of the movie if you have seen it? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. And if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.